Occupy Wall Street movement could ever influence fashion.
I think that the Occupy Wall Street movement has influenced fashion. I think that fashion is tied to our commerce in an important way, and that we're largely a liberal community that really appreciates any social shift, and that does affect fashion. Social change always affects fashion, and I think that we're going to probably see some element of it quietly on the runways.
I think Occupy Wall Street can influence fashion by going down there and kind of seeing what political activists are doing and also wearing. I know it sounds weird, but I think that sometimes when you think about fashion in a different kind of way, it can bring a whole new light on what you wear each day and why you're wearing it, where you're going to, what you're standing for, and everything you represent.
The Occupy Wall Street movement definitely has already inspired fashion. In terms of menswear, especially the suiting, a lot of suits have come out of menswear from Paris, like Lanvin, Simmons. Like, they're very drapey, loose-cut pants. It's kind of like a deconstructed men's suiting. So it's kind of like a resemblance of Wall Street falling apart. And it's very loose, it's very chic, and very, like, not too put together. I think it's kind of like resembling the fact that America's economy isn't as strong as it used to be. The suits aren't as sharp and clean cut and tailored as they once were.
I think that it can inspire a lot of people, and I think that, you know, it's definitely something that is traveling quick.
The Occupy Wall Street movement taps into a sentiment that there's a small group of corrupt individuals at the top 1% exploiting the people, exploiting the masses. Race Hope for Congo looks to address that by holding the rich and holding the corporations accountable and cleaning up their supply chains and cleaning up the mess they're making in Africa. It's a movement of the people for the people, from Occupy Wall Street to the women of Eastern Congo.
Nice.
I don't suppose in the same way that it has influenced you know, politics and the financial institutions and really rocked them. But yes, I do. I do believe that, you know, there can be a political movement within fashion, and fashion is very political in itself. So yeah, I don't see why not.
A massive group of people coming together, there's going to be things that tend to bleed into each other. Fashion definitely being one of them.
Music influences fashion, fashion influences politics, politics influence that, back and forth, everything's connected.
I want to give a shout out to everybody who's occupying Wall Street. 99 versus the 1%, you guys are brave. Keep it real.
Because they want people to see how they feel visually. Because it's more than just Zuccotti Park, Occupy Wall Street, people are banging drugs and they're complaining. It's more than that. PR controls how people view the world.
I think Occupy Wall Street is an enormous social movement, and eventually it will, come out, if not already. I mean, there's even in my own clothes, there's a certain severity and austerity. It's kind of held back a little bit. One of the themes that I visited was about a strictness. It's not so much about that, anymore.
I saw Versace on Charlie Rose. Wanted to know, where do you get your ideas from? And Versace said, I look around. And I even get some ideas from the street.
I have 2 layers of socks, and I have some layers under my corduroy. Some kind of long johns. My own scarf.
Oh, nice.
My own my own way,
Make sure you dress in layers. Layers under there, lots of layers.
Well, the most important thing is hand warmers. You can put those things in your shoes and it keeps your toes nice and toasty. And I also got my little funky hat here.
I know nothing about fashion. This is the official Philadelphia Police Department's winter coat. When I joined, due to slashes in budgets, they no longer supply recruits with leather coats.
I think everybody should start dressing like the people in the Occupy movement so that we don't support the big corporate firms that use sweatshop workers in places like Bangladesh where they only get 22 cents an hour. Buy your clothes secondhand. Don't buy much of them. We've got to learn to live with a new simplicity and a new humility, and that should be reflected in how we dress. Although I am wearing a suit, but that's only because I got hauled into court today for being arrested in front of Gomes Sachs.
My style is straight from the street. I DIY, make my own clothes. Just stuff from the army surplus, and you can stud anything. You put studs in a jacket or a hat, whatever you want. That's basically how I roll.
I definitely use a lot of street style as my inspiration because I feel like what people are wearing on the streets is what they're buying in the stores. So my inspiration for the fall collection was actually a kaleidoscope that I saw at my grandparents' house. I used a lot of the cool little textures and prints that I saw on the kaleidoscope and kind of translated them onto the runway. So it's really fun prints and with a little bit of like feminine street edge.
I live in LA, so there's everything is watered down. So one thing I've seen is the whole high socks, and people push it down. So they wear boots and they push it all the way down. It's hanging on top of the boots, or like at the tip of the boot. So I think that's really cool. So I'm gonna copy that.
I get a little bit of inspiration from everywhere. I'm like, oh, I like those shoes, and oh my god, that girl's hair is amazing. And you put it all together, and it's kind of this I don't know, this kind of mess of situation that just happens.
It's like, how do you know somebody's homeless, and how do you know somebody's rich? A rich person can wear a t-shirt and jeans, or they can wear a really expensive suit, or a homeless person all their pieces are going to look really tattered, but somebody that's high-end, their pieces look really tattered too.
안녕하세요. 저는 한혜연이라고 하고요. 저는 이 옷을 캐나다 구스라고 좀 따뜻해요. 겨울을 보내기에 너무 따뜻한 이 점퍼를 하나 구입해서 겨울을 잘 나가고요. 안에는 그냥 정선리라고 JJS리라고 영국 디자이너예요. 디자이너 옷이고 이 팬츠는 영국 빈티지 샵에서 샀어요. 그리고 레깅스랑 그리고 제가 그냥 한국에서 산 부츠.
Creative person that's walking along and has their own style. You always do a double take. You're always like, oh wow, they look good. And it's little things, whether it's makeup or jewelry or a great pair of jeans or boots. The way they carry themselves, that's inspiring too.
how much Occupy influenced fashion, but yeah, I see a lot more people from fashion are aware of the corporate and special interest investment in government. And I think that what Occupy did was educate a lot of people about whether it was Citizens United or just the fact that government is so paid for, that democracy is so compromised.
Do you think Occupy Wall Street influenced fashion?
You mean fashion as in clothes? I hope not. But fashion as in politics, yes.
Particularly as not.
The primary thing it did, which was not inconsiderable, is it made people realize the tremendous extent of income equality, which apparently no one realized. I don't know how that was possible, but that's not nothing. It's not enough, but it's not nothing.
Where do you think it can go?
I mean, that particular movement, I don't think that it has much trajectory. But I might be wrong. In this case, I hope I'm wrong.
Cool.
I'm usually right, and in this case, I'm hoping I'm wrong.
No, I think that we still have a lot of work to do. We still need to educate people on why government should be free from money. That just like church and state should be free, so should money be free from elected officials. Elected officials should work for the people who educate them.
People like to pinpoint it as this occupies a liberal movement, or it's a communist movement, or it's a socialist movement, or it's an anarchist movement. It's really none of that. It's really just a big cohesion of just frustration of people who are really frustrated and are really sad about not getting their voices heard.
There's one message here, and I'm not afraid to say it. It's accountability. That's it. And people often say, like, oh, well, they don't know what they're talking about. It's like, well, if you actually talk to everyone and trace it to its root, everyone's asking for accountability. When the protesters chant at the police, it's because the police make arbitrary arrests and trumped up charges. Alex Arbuckle, for instance, the officer lied under oath. My footage exonerated this person. Proved the officer lied. No accountability. The officer was not held accountable for their actions. Then you've got companies, say fracking companies, water is being polluted, no accountability. You've got politicians taking bribes, lobbyists, no accountability whatsoever. So all the problems that everyone's talking about, they really just want to see accountability.
There's no doubt that corporate media has pushed this movement to the side, and that's because corporate media is the 1%. And if there's any organization that's a threat to the 1%, it's the Occupy movement.
Do you support the Occupy movement? Paris, do you support...
Trying again.
Beautiful. Gorgeous, Paris. Gorgeous. Oh my God.
What's your favorite color?
Pink.
We need a backup here, guys. We need help.